not Rihanna confirming the rumors about how Beyoncé allegedly tried to blackball her career. There have been rumors for a long time about how Beyoncé isn't exactly who we think she is, because she's not as good as we think she is. Well, not only did Rihanna appear to confirm the rumors, but she also claimed that Beyoncé is allegedly a handler for the Hollywood elites, helping them to keep other celebs at bay. Not just that, but Rihanna also name-dropped some celebs who fell victim to Beyoncé's handling. And y'all, this explains so much about why we don't see these celebs in action anymore. Rihanna did not come to play, so let's break this tea down. So it looks like there might be more truth to the rumors of a beef between Rihanna and Beyoncé, and it looks like the beef is only getting worse and worse with each day that passes. Now, you'd think that these two women would constantly be on good terms with each other, considering that they both have ties to each other, especially when it comes to Jay-Z. But that's not the case, because there is a lot of competition between both women that has made it close to impossible for them to get along together. The situation has been going on for a hot minute, and the rumors about Rihanna allegedly having an affair with Jay-Z certainly didn't help with the alleged strain between them. Jay-Z and Rihanna go way back, and it's kinda impossible to talk about Rihanna's rise to the top without talking about Jay-Z, and to some extent Beyoncé as well, because Beyoncé had a pivotal role to play in Rihanna's success. Back when Rihanna was breaking into the music scene, Jay-Z, who was running Def Jam at the time, took notice of her talent and wasn't about to let her slip away. He kept her in his office until the early hours of the morning, I'm talking 3 a.m. He refused to let her leave until she put pen to paper and signed a contract. If that doesn't scream dedication, I don't know what does. So, Rihanna got signed for a 6-album deal, but she wasn't the center of attention at the label back then. Nope, that spotlight belonged to Tiara Mari, who was the label's golden child at the time. Tiara had everyone convinced she was destined for stardom. She was just that girl. You could see it plain as day at events like the 2005 World Music Awards. There, Tiara, along with Rihanna and another singer named Amerie, took the stage to perform their rendition of Destiny's Child's Lose My Breath. And let me tell you, Tiara owned that performance. She took on Beyoncé's part with such confidence, making it crystal clear who the label's darling was. Now, Beyoncé and Jay-Z were already dating by this time, and Beyoncé decided to help Jay-Z out by giving Rihanna a push to make sure the label started paying attention to her. At a Def Jam open house, Beyoncé decided to make a comment that would change the trajectory of both Rihanna and Tiara Mari's careers. Beyoncé was already a superstar then, so her words definitely carried a lot of weight, and she managed to get the label execs to pay attention to Rihanna instead of Tiara Mari. After the event ended, she went up to L.A. Reid and told him to pay a little bit more attention to Rihanna.
We had a showcase, and at the showcase there were 2 artists performing. Her name is Tiara Mari, and she's a really sweet girl. And the truth is I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna. After the showcase, you know, Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said, "That Rihanna girl, she's a beast." And she looked away, right? And I was like, so I did a Rihanna double take.
So in a way, we can say that both Beyoncé and Jay-Z played an important part in Rihanna's success in the music industry. I mean, Rihanna even won her first Grammy with Jay-Z.
And the Grammy goes to Rihanna featuring Jay-Z for Umbrella!
And Rihanna didn't take it for granted because she was super grateful for the opportunity that she had been given.
Working with Jay and having a collaboration with him is just one of those things that everyone dreams to do in their musical career. And here I am at 19 years old with the #1 single and featuring Jay-Z. It's just, I can't fathom it sometimes. It's just too much for me it's overwhelming sometimes.
But as it turns out, Beyoncé didn't do that out of the goodness of her heart, but because she allegedly found out that Jay-Z was allegedly messing around with Tiara Mari at the time. So Beyoncé allegedly made that comment to L.A. Reid so that she could get Tiara kicked off the list and blacklisted.
Her to a deal. By the time all of the ink was dry, she was just shy of being legal. But that didn't stop the mogul. He liked to sample the new talent. He was sampling her on a fairly regular basis, but he was also involved with the current A+ list singer who was in his face every day. And this could allegedly be Beyoncé. The thing is, though, that corn star in charge of her career was feuding with the mogul and told the mogul he would not be allowed to hook up with the singer again. I assume he thought the mogul would think she was something special. Apparently not as special as the current A+ lister, because the new signee was dropped and the word was put out on the street. No record deals for her from any label. When someone ignored the edict, they were paid a visit. If the visits were ignored, then other steps were taken. This was a total lockdown of a career that lasted almost a decade.
Rihanna used to be tight with Beyoncé and Jay-Z, but somewhere along the line, things got messy between them. Insiders spilled the tea, suggesting that Beyoncé might have gotten a bit jealous and even tried to throw a wrench in Rihanna's career. If you've been keeping up with these two powerhouses, you've probably heard the rumors about Jay-Z and Rihanna getting cozy behind Beyoncé's back. Let me tell you, it was a hot topic back in the day, and things got messy real quick. Now, we all know Jay-Z's track record isn't squeaky clean when it comes to fidelity, so the idea of him stepping out on Beyoncé isn't exactly far-fetched. But Rihanna's always been adamant about denying any romantic involvement, swearing up and down that they were just tight and Jay-Z was more of a mentor figure to her. Her publicist at the time even took responsibility for spreading the fake news, claiming that he did it as a way to push Rina's career. He said, "The PR stunt that I did was out of desperation to help break Pon de Replay," he wrote. "It was reckless and I didn't think it was going to work. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. I didn't think it would be this big story. But now, knowing that people are profiting from speculations and opinions about her really turns my stomach. I'm ashamed that I'm even talking about this. I just want to put this rumor to rest once and for all." Many folks weren't buying Rihanna's denial though. I mean, come on, it's no secret that publicists sometimes stretch the truth to keep their clients looking squeaky clean, even if it means telling a little lie here and there. But I have never heard of a publicist telling a lie that's guaranteed to make their client look bad. And let me tell you, this rumor was painting Rihanna in a seriously bad light. Word on the street is Beyoncé wasn't buying into the publicist's spiel either. Some say that's what ignited the tension between the two leading ladies. Beyoncé was feeling majorly suspicious, and before you knew it, she was side-eyeing Rihanna like nobody's business. Rumor has it, things got so heated that Beyoncé allegedly made moves to sabotage Rihanna's career. Now, don't get me wrong, we all love Beyoncé because she's the ultimate queen, but there have been whispers about her allegedly throwing shade at other female artists in the industry whenever she felt they'd crossed her. Even her former bodyguard spilled the tea about how she and Jay-Z allegedly conspired to put an end to Carrie Hilson's career over some petty beef.
Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are. How you step on anybody to stay on the top. So remember.
And that wasn't the end of it. Beyoncé caught flack again when she was accused of trying to dim Normani's spotlight to let her protege, Chloe Bailey, shine brighter. So allegedly, Beyoncé isn't a stranger to the game of sidelining other female artists. Rumor has it she tried pulling the same stunt with Rihanna. Remember when Riri's album Anti leaked on Tidal just 2 days before its official release date? Now, albums leaking online isn't exactly breaking news, but this leak raised some eyebrows because it happened on Tidal. And guess who owns Tidal? That's right, Jay-Z. There were whispers that Beyoncé had a hand in the leak. Some say she wanted to clear the path for her own album, Lemonade, which dropped just a few weeks after Anti. So the speculation was she was trying to knock out the competition before it even hit the shelves. Now, I know that many celeb feuds are made up by the fans who somehow manage to convince themselves that two celebs are beefing even when there's no evidence. But this is not the case here because several insiders revealed just how bad things were between Bey and Riri. A source claimed that they could barely stand each other, saying they refused to stand next to each other or speak with each other. Handlers and coordinators went to great lengths to keep the divas happy. The whole show was carefully choreographed, and these two had almost nothing to do with each other. Oh, and let's not forget the time Beyoncé basically released a diss track toward Rihanna. Yeah, I'm talking about her song Bow Down because, Chile, that song caused a lot of drama. Beyoncé did try to explain why she put out that song.
The reason I put out Bow Down is because I woke up, I went into the studio, I had a chant in my head. It was aggressive, it was angry. It wasn't the Beyonce that wakes up every morning. It was the Beyonce that was angry. It was the Beyonce that felt the need to defend herself. And if this song never comes out, okay, I said it. And I listened to it after I finished and I said, this is hot. I'm gonna put it out. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna just put it out. People like it, great. They don't.
This was a hot mess, and Rihanna kind of threw the shade right back at Beyoncé when she sent this subliminal message that said, I only know how to be number one. I could use a challenge. How'd that feel down there on your knees, huh? One thing about Rihanna, she is never going to take anybody's BS. But wait, there's more to the story. Remember when Beyoncé claimed she wrote that song because she was feeling all kinds of angry and hurt? Turns out that was a bit of a fib. The real masterminds behind the lyrics were were songwriters Rock City, who spilled the beans that they penned the track. And here's where it gets juicier. The song was initially meant for Rihanna, but she passed on it, so it landed in Beyoncé's lap instead. Sure, Beyoncé might have made a few tweaks here and there, but it's pretty wild to think she threw shade at Riri with a song she didn't write herself. But that's not all, because we need to take a moment to talk about the allegations that have been made against Beyoncé by other women, especially women who have worked closely with her. According to one of Beyoncé's former drummers, fans might not be so far off with their speculations because she accused Beyoncé of dabbling heavily in the occult. The drummer's name is Kimberly Thompson, and according to the Daily Beast, she claims that for some reason, Bey has started a campaign of harassment against her that includes extreme witchcraft, dark magic, and magic spells of sexual molestation. She also claims the Lemonade star murdered her kitten. Thompson believes Beyoncé has been tapping her phones and controlling her finances. It's unclear why Thompson believes the singer is allegedly doing all this to her, but she is adamant it all stems from Bey. Kimberly also went live on Instagram to expose Beyoncé.
This person was casting spells and manipulating me and controlling my job situations, my relationships, all just a very wicked tactic to just keep me down and keep me under some type of control.
People thought that she was just looking for attention and trying to use Beyoncé's name for clout, so they didn't really take her seriously at first. But then she took the wild step of filing a restraining order against Beyoncé, and that's when people started to sit up and wonder if there was some truth behind her words. But as expected, the Beyhive swarmed in, calling out Beyoncé for her alleged deceit and even hurling threats her way. We all know the Beyhive doesn't play when it comes to protecting their QueenB, and poor Kimberly found herself on the receiving end of their wrath. But then, out of left field, Beyoncé's longtime buddy Kanye West stepped up to spill some serious tea. He publicly aired some shocking allegations, suggesting that Beyoncé had been involved in some dark rituals to maintain her success.
Right. They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Not you, man.
But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name. You know what I'm saying? And this truth is gonna be heard. Y'all can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozies, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they have legal. I never killed nobody, right? I'm the pussy that never killed nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to jail.
Wait, did Kanye just hint that Beyoncé might have been involved in some sort of sacrifice? Well, he didn't come right out and say it, but his words definitely left folks wondering. When he mentioned being untouchable because he hadn't taken any lives, it raised some serious eyebrows. Kanye's revelations seemed to paint Beyoncé as some sort of handler in Hollywood. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, there have been reports of how the Hollywood elites sometimes use high-level celebrities to carry out their shady activities. Names like Oprah and Tyler Perry have been dragged into the conversation when talking about celebrities who are allegedly being used as handlers. And according to Rihanna, Beyoncé might allegedly be one of them. Riri pointed out Beyoncé's history of blackballing the women that Jay-Z gets involved with, hinting that Beyoncé allegedly sometimes uses her handler position for her own personal benefit. For example, let's rewind to the Tiara Mari issue. While Rihanna is grateful to Beyoncé for making that comment to L.A. Reid, she still wishes that Tiara wasn't blacklisted because the industry is big enough for her and Tiara to do their things. Back in the early 2000s, Tiara Mari was making waves at Def Jam Records. The label had huge hopes and dreams for her. I mean, when Jay-Z himself dubs you the princess of Def Jam, you know you're in for something big. And let's be real, Jay-Z doesn't throw around compliments like confetti.
Talk about some of the artists, Tiara Marie.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's the first lady of the rock?
She's the princess.
This was all happening before Rihanna came onto the scene at Def Jam. But even after Riri got signed, it didn't really shake things up too much for Tiara. She was still holding onto her crown as the princess of the label. The bigwigs at Def Jam, especially L.A. Reid, had more belief in Tiara's potential to be the next big sensation than they did in Rihanna. But things started to go wrong when Tiara started to mess with the men at the label. Or rather, they started to mess with her and pass her around. She was powerless to say no, because the men held more power than she did, and her career was literally in their hands. Now, you'd think that with her messing with the big bosses, she would have been safe at the label, right? Well, no. Jay-Z randomly decided to drop her from the label without a heads up, and he didn't even have the decency to do it face to face. He called her up on the phone while she was dressing up for prom and told her that she was out. To be fair, Jay-Z did give her some explanation, but it didn't really add up. While he claimed that her debut album was a flop and they had to let her go, the numbers tell a different story. The album had sold 69,000 copies, peaking at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and snagging the number 2 spot on the Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop albums. But somehow, this wasn't enough for Jay-Z, but it soon became clear that this was just a cover-up because Rihanna dropped her debut album just weeks later, selling the exact same 69,000 copies in the first week. But Rihanna's album didn't chart as high as T-Era's, so according to Jay-Z's logic, T-Era should have been getting the boot, right? Well, plot twist, Rihanna got to stay, which made no sense at all, because if T-Era was kicked out, why didn't Rihanna? Well, it turns out that the reason behind T-Era leaving the label that Jay-Z was allegedly in the midst of a scandalous affair with T-Era, who by the way was still in high school at the time. But wait, it gets even spicier. According to this blind item, it wasn't just Jay-Z who she was allegedly having the affair with. The blind item claimed that L.A. Reid allegedly started this tangled web by allegedly having an affair with T-Era. Then, he allegedly passed her like a baton to Ray J, who, in turn, allegedly handed her off to Jay-Z.
As I have told you before, Aaliyah was SA'd as a minor by several producers and was treated like a piece of meat to be bought and sold by different producers up until the time that she passed away. A couple of years after she passed away, a fairly large record producer started making some calls about a singer he had working out of his studio. She was 15 and eager, and soon different label heads were scouting her. And this is allegedly Tierra Marie. Soon, she was sold to this pseudo corn star and celebrity sibling. You can also take a guess at that one. He loves controlling vulnerable women. It is his specialty. Anyway, he started controlling the career of this singer. He brought her to the attention of this A-plus list rapper and mogul, allegedly Jay-Z.
This is just so twisted on so many levels, especially because she was still young at the time. But hold on, because there are a lot of twists here. A couple of months after T-Era was dropped by Jay-Z, she went public with her relationship with Ray J. She was 18 and he was 25 at the time, and there were rumors that they had been hooking up long before she became legal age. But back to Jay-Z, the math really isn't mathing about why he dropped her. Apart from the whale thing with Rihanna, there's also the fact that T-Era was already working on her second album with his approval. So, if the first album was so bad that he dropped her because of it, why would he greenlight another album? According to the mysterious whisperings of a blind item, y'all can forget about album sales and chart positions, because the real reason Jay-Z allegedly gave T-Era the boot was because there was a very messy love situation going on behind the scenes. According to reports, Ray J wanted T-Era all to himself because he liked her and was attracted to her. Unfortunately, he heard word about how Jay-Z was allegedly pursuing something with T-Era, and he got super jealous. But hey, I told y'all this story before, you know, about how Beyonce heard about the affair, forced Jay-Z to fire T-Era, blah blah blah. But as it turns out, there was more to the story, because allegedly Beyonce decided that she wasn't having any of that drama, and her solution wasn't just for Jay-Z to drop T-Era from the label. Oh no, Beyonce allegedly went full Hollywood handler and reportedly blacklisted her from the entire industry. That's right, folks, her solution was to make sure T-Era wouldn't be working with anyone ever again. Talk about taking things to the extreme. According to Rihanna, Beyonce tried to pull the same moves with her once she realized just how big Rihanna was going to get, but she underestimated the contacts that Rihanna had made in the industry in a short time and how strong her fan base was. Also, Rihanna was lucky enough to have the approval of some powerful elites in Hollywood, and that's the only reason she's still standing. Fans left comments saying, "Beyonce has never been a kind person. Have you ever watched her with Destiny's Child? She treated them like second class. Smart girl, Miss Riri. She survived when so many didn't." And many people are not fans of Jay-Z and Beyonce, as they both have sabotaged many artists' careers and suppressed their music. Anywho, y'all, let me know how you feel about this situation, and then check out this next video.